That's probably the fastest live I've ever gone. All right, let us begin. Greetings and salutations. Good evening, good afternoon, good morning. Let's have some lights in here, shall we? Some more lights. Welcome, one and all to the show. It's your boy, Prince Dr. Chukwuemeka Edward Attah-Edeh. Anyawuna Waroha one of Papugube. Your friends, my friends, they call me Eddy4ShoT's, and it's a pleasure to have you on the other side of the listening wave. Welcome to the show. On today's show, today's a very special episode. We have a guest that's waiting and primed. Her mind is intellectual, ready. I should not even give away her gender. Yes, maybe I've already given away 2 times, but it is well. At least you have a preeminent understanding of what we're going to do today. I was going to think about the topic of the show today, and I was saying the do's and the don'ts of the topic, and I was like, what can I say? What can I encapsulate on, right? And we talked with the guest today, and she said, empowerment doesn't encapsulate everything. Now, I don't know how I'll be able to bring her on the show, but I think you probably can hear her already. I want to use this opportunity to welcome you on the show.
Recording in progress.
Yes, welcome to the show. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Now, can you speak up a bit so that the guests can hear you?
Can you hear me?
I can hear you clearly now. Perfect. I don't know if the guests can hear you on the show. If you guys cannot hear me, cannot hear my guests, let me know so I'll know what I can do immediately. All right. Thank you, guys. Go ahead. Please introduce yourself. I don't know if I introduced myself properly. My name is Prince Dr. Chukwuemeka Edward Attah-Edeh. Anyawuna Waroha one of Abugo. But your friends, my friends, they call me Ed for short. And it's a pleasure to have you on the other side of the listening. Please, could you tell us who you are and welcome to the show?
Yes, my name is Nita.
Welcome, Nita.
I don't know. I'm from America. I don't know what I'm supposed to say.
Yeah, well, you are from America. Is that not where you are? Your citizenship says.
Yes, but you wanted me to introduce myself. Should I? I don't have.
How will you introduce yourself?
I would say hello. My name is Nita.
If you're meeting me for the first time, how will you introduce yourself? Hello?
I would just say hello. My name is Nita. Nice to meet you.
Pleasure to meet you too, Ms. Nita. Welcome to the show. I want to let you know that you're live. We are talking, this could go to one person, it could go to 1,000,000 people. So I want you to use the opportunity to elaborate about yourself, tell us what it is that excites you in the daytime and what you do to keep you motivated in this world that we are experiencing. And this is a very special episode because you can tell us a little bit about the climate right now in infrastructure, right? In any way you want, in any capacity you want.
Okay, so what do I do during the daytime? I work. I am a federal worker here in the United States. And as far as the political climate, obviously our president is in the process of to downsize the government. So with that being said, there are a lot of Americans who are looking for our democratic system to take hold or to do something to change. The government is the biggest employer we have over here. So losing government does a lot to affect the people.
I agree. I'm losing government, and being a government worker yourself, you are probably severely affected right now, right? How is that?
I am. It brings a level of anxiety that I don't necessarily know if most people have. You wake up and one day something is one way, and then you wake up the next day and it's different.
Sudden change.
For those of your viewers who may be enlightened, but government workers received an email that stated we needed to give 5 things or describe 5 things in which we had done last week. The deadline was 11:59 yesterday, and if we didn't, it was cause for resignation.
Calls for resignation. So that means they are telling you, people, we don't need you here anymore if you cannot answer an email. So right now, people's livelihoods, I could say, is determined by an email.
Yes.
What do you think we should do in this situation? Should we reply that email? Because the government states the law, and the law is what keeps us functioning, right? The law once upon a time made us, what would I say, property, and the law today is saying we should answer an email to have property.
Okay. So one of the things that I can't speak for every agency, but one of the things that some agencies on an agency email where individual workers didn't respond, but they responded as a collective. And I guess in that email, they discussed what the agencies did. If it's about numbers and using those numbers to show that you are doing whatever that particular agency's mission is, it doesn't make sense for one worker in one agency to tell you what they did, and then you have over 3 million government workers doing that. So as a collective, this is what this agency did last week, is more along the lines of accountability. Because if you want the truth to be told, if you're trying to be efficient, if every government worker sent an email saying what they did last week, and let's just say now you have a team of people to read those emails, how efficient is it to do that? Or at what cost would that be to read every email to see what every government worker is going to do? Is this something you're going to do on a consistent basis? Because if that's the case, then it would literally become somebody's job to read emails about what somebody else did last week in a particular agency.
Do you think that is right to do?
I think that there needs to be accountability all the way around in every agency, but do I think that someone who doesn't know maybe exactly what your agency does should come to you and be like, hey, what did you do last week? If you don't know what my particular mission is, then that's an obscure thing.
I see what you mean, because that could right now, most people are saying no, I may not answer. Some people are saying yes, I have to answer. Some people have no choice but to answer. This is a dilemma that people are in right now, right?
It is. Well, actually, no, because the dilemma is over. So those who didn't answer, now, because my agency answered as a whole, as a collective, we haven't seen or heard anything else, but I'm pretty sure in weeks to come, we will hear how that played out.
I see what you mean. I want to use this opportunity to invite more guests. If people want to talk on this channel, let them know that, hey, we are live, we are talking, we are answering questions to those who are willing to listen, to hear us out, and we are ready to talk to you if you are ready to talk to us. Let me see if I will probably change the bit rate on this part. Okay, this is good. This looks good on this side. I'm going to minimize. I hope you guys can see and hear me clearly on all the channels. From what I can see, YouTube still looks good. I'm going to confirm from my phone real quick. Give me 1 minute. Meanwhile, tell us, what are you doing? You're driving in a car. What kind of what's the temperature like outside where you're driving?
Okay, so it's actually not. It's not cold. It's quite warm for a winter day. So the temperature outside is 62 degrees Fahrenheit.
Very nice.
Which would be in Celsius. Temperature outside.
62 degrees Fahrenheit in Celsius. That's wonderful. Thank you so much for sharing with us. I really appreciate it. So, Nita, welcome to the show. This is a Flight on the Wall podcast. It is a where we talk about everything from birth to space travel. And basically, to bring into the topic of today, why I kind of fashioned this line of idea. And of course, it will birth many other topics, and we're very, very welcome to come in on many other episodes and to share a piece of your mind with us. My idea of understanding what is it that is right to do and what is it that is not right to do, the do and don't. As an immigrant coming to America, and of course, you've traveled a few times, right, Miss Nita?
I have.
Have you traveled to the African continent? Okay, please tell us about that. Tell us about your travel to the African continent?
Um,
Where did you go? Well, how was it? What time of the year was it? Was it during winter like this?
I left America and I flew into Lagos, and from Lagos I went to Imo State.
Oh, Imo State. That's a nice spot.
It is. I actually prefer the countryside more than the city.
People tell me that. Like, what is it about the countryside that excites you? Because me, I think it's the serenity, the lack of lights, pollution, and maybe just the fact that I can walk outside and the sand is still very, very pristine.
Well, for me, because I come from the country here in America, which oftentimes people don't know even exists, it was like being back at home.
Being back.
So we don't have, where I grew up, we didn't have very many street lights. We don't have Uber. We don't have Lyft. Everybody knows everybody. It's a very small town. There's only one secondary school, one middle school, one elementary school. So it's a very close-knit community.
That's
so I
beautiful.
felt like when I was going to the village, it was more like that.
That's lovely, lovely, lovely. Thank you so much for sharing that. So, did you play with sand houses when you were a kid?
I did not play with sand houses. So that concept might be a foreign to me. But I do know of places where there's no running water inside the house, or they have, like bathrooms outside. We would go and eat and pick off the trees and do things like that. So, I feel like we had dirt roads. There was certain places that had wells, and so you'd have to pump well water and go and fetch water. So I did those kinds of things when I was younger.
That's lovely. Oh, nice. I did the same thing when I was younger. Probably on a much grander scale, because in early in the morning we'll probably go out to the stream down in Afompune in Apugu, and we'll fetch water and bring it back and fill the drum when we come back for Christmas. This is a lovely path to walk around, and the sand is like really fine, and the clay soil near the river, I can't forget how it feels under my feet. Absolutely, absolutely beautiful. But yes, let's go ahead and tell us about. Okay, we've traveled, we've gone to the African continent. Now, is an African person trying to fly to this continent. What is the first thing as a government worker, right? What is the first thing that somebody who wants to be an immigrant, say for example, someone is listening to this podcast now and says, I want to travel to America. How do I do it? What is the first thing the person should start thinking of, in your opinion? Since you've traveled, you probably know what it is to go to another country. You have an experience, correct?
Okay. Well, you need the basic things. Obviously, if you're going to travel to another country, you have to make sure you have the legal documents in order to do so.
And what are these legal documents, if you were to number it out, for example?
Depending on where you're traveling from, you need to make sure you have a visa, which is the country's permission to allow you to come and give a purpose as to why you are coming. You want to make sure that you have your travel documents, which would be considered like your passport, or things that identify who you are, where you're from. in the event that, something happens, or just so that for identification purposes.
I see what you mean.
And depending on your purpose for traveling, then if there's anything that comes with that, let's say if you are traveling for pleasure, then maybe I've seen people having to give their itineraries as to where they're going and how long they're going to be at said place, right? Or if you're going for school, so you go to school in another country, then you would need the offer letter, or the acceptance letter that you got into the institution, and how long you're going to be there, maybe what your field of study is. Or let's say you're going there to work, then something from the employer stating what your business is and why you're coming there, how long you're going to be there. There are certain, certain boundaries and things of that nature in which we have to, work within. So you're only here for 6 months, you're here for a year, multiple visits. How does that work with? If you're coming to visit, oftentimes, do you know somebody here? Where are you going to be staying? Those kinds of things.
That's brilliant.
Yeah, I know, like for Nigeria, if you're coming to visit somebody and get a visa, then they want to know where you're going to be when you get here. Who you're going to be staying with, how are you related to that person, how long are you going to be here.
I agree. Okay, beautifully said, wonderfully said. Really appreciate you for sharing that input with us, because there are people that are listening to this podcast now that really don't know what it is that how it is to travel, or what it is to travel. So we are here to enlighten them. We're a fly on the wall, listening to conversations in between people, distinguished individuals that can share their mind fluently and generously those who are willing to listen. Correct?
Yes.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. I don't know if you're watching on the Zoom right now. You can see that we put ourselves in like a room. We're communicating. We like to make it fun in here, right?
Oh, yes.
You like that?
Yeah.
So imagine if your camera was on right now, you'd be in the room with me. I'll be like talking with you, like, "Hey, hi, welcome to the show," and stuff like that.
Yes.
All right. Thank you so much for being here with us. Really appreciate it, Miss Nita. All right. So someone has gotten their visa now, right? They book a ticket. So to book a ticket, they go to the agency. Say maybe perhaps they book a ticket on a flight agency, and they get their flights. What are the flight etiquette one should know? Say they're approaching the airport. They've never flown before, right? We are talking to. Well, I want you to put your legs in the shoes of somebody who has never flown before. You're an experiencer of this, right? You probably the first time you ever flew, and I'm very sure you went with people. But imagine somebody who is an adult, is independent, decides to get enough money to get or has enough purpose to come to the country, or the country is going to has enough money to buy a ticket. What are the etiquettes that he doesn't know that you think you know that you can embark on this person? Imbibe.
Oh, wow. Hold on. All right.
Sure.
Okay. So if you repeat the last part of that question, I'm sorry.
Yes. I was saying, like, say for example, you have somebody who is a novice. Person has never flown before. This person is a complete novice. Say for example, the first time you flew to a different country, right? Flying to America here for or flying to Nigeria. Probably went with somebody who knew something, right? So I want you to put your legs in the shoes of somebody who doesn't know anything, right? And then with the vision and the knowledge now of what it is, the right things to do when you fly, what are the step-by-step ways for them to come to or fly to a different country? Say, okay, they've gotten their visa, right? Okay, we don't know the processes of the visa process, right? You apply for visa. If they call you for an interview, you answer the reason why you're going to the country. They've given you the visa now, right? Okay, now you've justified the reason to go. You've bought the ticket, right? By going to an agency, you bought the ticket. Now you are heading to the airport. I just wanted to know, what are your etiquettes. What is the right thing to do step by step as they lift their bags and put into the taxi or their car heading to the airport? What is the right thing to do? Okay, even before that, as they are packing their bags, what is the right thing to pack? Say,
Okay. So one of the things that I would suggest doing is, because every country is different, every airline is different. So with that being said, you want to go to the website, or even someone who's traveled with that particular carrier, and ask them what are the things you can and cannot take. Because oftentimes people just think you can bring anything. And then you get to the airport, and then they go through your stuff or they throw stuff away, because technically it would at that point be considered ban, because you're not allowed to fly with it. So, for instance, in America, you cannot buy water. You don't bring it out from the airport. So you can either buy water once you get through security, or you can bring a water bottle, but then you're going to fill it up after you get through. So there are certain things you can't bring in, certain liquids that can only be a certain size, flammable things, where you want to store your laptop, how you're going to go about doing such. So oftentimes you can't do that. And then sometimes once you get through security, there are sometimes you need to declare those things. You need to make certain entities aware that, hey, I have this thing and I'm going to be bringing it with me. And that even accounts for like money. So I know that I had traveled for vacation, and when I was coming back, you were only allowed to bring a certain amount of dollars or whatever you needed to or transfer in, and you needed to declare it. So when you're going to the airport, one of the best things I would suggest is to look on the website of the company that you're flying to see what is actually allowed. And if you don't know what they mean, to call and ask.
beautifully said. Thank you so very much. I'm very sure you're seeing, I don't know if you're watching on the YouTube, we are seeing people thanking us and giving us 100% likes and subscription. We really appreciate those who are liking and subscribing right now. Thank you so much for that. But thank you so much, Nita, for those words of information, because the person has gotten now, they've gotten to the airport, they've packed the right things, right? The journey clothes, the shoes, the bags, the cream. Of course, they should know on the website. Right now, we have access. Right now, in your hand, you have one of the most powerful supercomputers. If you pay the right amount of money, in your palm of your hand, you can find out any information there is to know by literally picking up your phone and Googling or ChatGPT or Oracle or any of the AI that they have right now. You can literally learn anything you want to learn in the palm of your hand, right? The person has packed their load, they packed the right things, they got to the airport, they've put it in, they're about to get into the airline. What is the right thing to do on the flight? If you know, as a government worker, what are you expected, or what do you expect the masses to do when they fly?
Well, I think that on a flight, you will listen to whatever people are directing you. You're going to give them your ticket. They're going to scan it. You're going to, I always like to, people gloss over it, to listen to what the stewardess and the flight attendants tell you how to do. Obviously, sit down and take your, if you have the ability to go to the bathroom beforehand, I always suggest doing that. And then just kind of finding your seat, and then finding something to busy yourself. Well, from Nigeria to America, I think at one point my flight was maybe like 10 hours. And so I took
Oh, you
something to
took a
read,
direct
obviously,
flight.
from Atlanta to Lagos, yeah.
Beautiful, beautiful. Okay. Most people would take a transit flight and go through a different country. So they should probably prepare a transit visa or a Schengen visa. Please carry on. Sorry for cutting you off.
Oh, no, it's fine. So then you want to once you're on your flight, you want to. I always suggest bringing something if you're gonna go to sleep because you get comfortable. It's kind of chilly there, and one of the things that I suggest doing is preparing for you are going. And when I say that, because I made the mistake when I traveled from America to Nigeria. I I should have looked at the weather, and I didn't do that. So, when I got off the plane in Lagos, it was extremely hot. But I had dressed for America. So I remember the shoes that I was wearing, my feet were just burning. They were just hot. And now my any shoe that I could have worn is needing to be checked in. So I don't have access to it right away. So maybe carrying something in your bag where if for some reason you need to change, or maybe if you're going somewhere colder, you have a coat that you can put on once you reach there, because you don't how it's going to be before you get to your dirty clothes, or if you take medicines, you want to make sure that you have them with you, depending on how long the flight is. Things like that are things that I thought about after the fact, which I would have been, or if you like, oftentimes you obviously want to check to make sure, but if there's a certain snack that you like, or there's something that you like to carry on, if it's within regulations, you make sure you want to bring that, because 9 times out of 10, if you're traveling from country to country, it's a long flight.
Got you. Beautifully said. I know we're running out of time on this segment of the Zoom, so I just want to kick in a quick game that we always play on the show. For those first time coming in on the show, we like to have a game. It's a little game that kind of checks your attention span. Okay, are you game?
Okay. I am game.
Excellent, excellent. All right, let us begin. This game is designed to check your attention span, so listen carefully because all the questions are connected. All right. Are you ready?
Mm-hmm. I'm ready.
If you have 600 coconuts on a plane and one of them falls down, how many coconuts do you have left on that plane?
6.
Sorry?
You said if you have 6 coconuts on the plane.
Oh, sorry, you couldn't hear me. Let me bring this closer. Can you hear me better now?
I can hear you better now.
Excellent. Sorry about that, people, folks. I didn't know you guys couldn't hear me properly, but here we go. All right, let's do ASMR in this. All right. If you have 600 coconuts on a plane and one of them falls down, how many coconuts do you have left on that plane?
600.
Why do you say so?
You didn't tell me that it fell out of the plane. You just told me it fell down.
Okay.
So if I'm assuming that it's up in the plane somewhere, you didn't say one fell out of the plane. You just said one fell down.
I like the way your brain works. Good, good, good. Well, the answer to this particular question would be 599 if coconuts were allowed on planes.
Oh my goodness. Okay.
You like it?
I like it. I like it.
Okay. Thank you, thank you, thank you, Connie. All right. You ready for the next question?
I am.
All right. How do you put an elephant into a fridge?
In fridge. An elephant into a fridge.
Yes.
I don't know.
You wanna guess?
You open
Okay.
it. You open fridge.
Uh-huh.
That's my final answer. You open the fridge.
You open the fridge. Well, You didn't finish the task, right? We asked, how do you put an elephant into a fridge? Yes, you are right. The first task is to open the fridge, put the elephant in, and then you close the fridge. Correct?
Okay. Okay.
All right. Good. Now with that, does that work? Did that bring a smile to your face?
It does.
All right. Next question. How do you put a giraffe into that fridge?
How do I put a giraffe into that fridge?
Yes.
Can I ask a question? That fridge is the same fridge that contains the elephant?
Well, you tell me. Yeah, I'm asking you the question.
Okay. You're going to open the fridge, find some way to secure the elephant,
Okay.
put the giraffe in the fridge,
Okay.
and then close the door.
Clap for yourself. Clap for yourself. Beautifully said. Yes, wonderful. Good job. Yes. Excellent. Yes. Okay. Good. It's a good to remember the elephant you put in the fridge. Beautifully said. All right. Are you ready for the next question?
I am.
I can't hear you.
I am ready.
Okay. All right. Next question is, there's a known lake of crocodiles, and a hunter wants to go hunting. But before that, have that in your head. The king of the jungle is calling a meeting. He wants every animal to be at that meeting. Which animal, no matter what it tries, can never come to that meeting?
Oh, sugar. No matter how hard he tries, he can never come to that meeting. An animal.
He,
right?
she, it, what they all included in between. How to think. Done without.
Okay, I can't hear you well.
Yeah, sorry, I was saying anyone, whether he, she, they, is an animal.
The king of the jungle called all the animals to a meeting. There's a known lake of crocodiles. The hunter.
No, before you think of the known lake of crocodiles, don't worry about the known lake of crocodiles for now. Worry about the question. The king of the jungle called the meeting. He expects everyone to be at that meeting. Which animal, no matter what it tries, can never come to that meeting?
Okay. And you said I'm not allowed to ask questions, correct?
Sorry, come again?
You said I'm not allowed to ask you questions, right?
I mean, you can ask me questions.
Say, if you said it's, but it's not like you're going to answer. So if it's the king of the jungle, right, then it's an animal. Are we? I don't want to say humans are animals because they're not. Because humans would never be. But
Humans are animal, but that's another podcast.
so that's the thing. If the king of the jungle is calling a meeting, humans can never be. But I was they were still in the jungle. That was the case, and the hunter wouldn't be there. But then you say don't work that. So, if you remove humans, or if we consider humans the animals, humans would not be there, so the hunter would not be there.
I like the way your mind thinks. Well, but are you ready for the answer?
Yes, that's my answer.
All right, good. Well, thank you, but it's not the correct answer. In this case, the animal that would have tried his best and not been able to come, or the animals, are the elephant and the giraffe you put in the fridge.
Jesus. Okay, because all of these questions are related. Okay. Okay.
You like?
I like.
Are you ready for the next question now?
I am ready for the next question.
Okay. So you're following and you're paying attention, right?
I am paying attention.
Okay. There's a known lake of crocodiles, and a hunter wants to go hunting. How will he get across the lake on that day?
There's a known lake of crocodiles, and the hunter wants to go hunting. How will he get across the lake that day? You never said that the hunter was hunting crocodiles.
Never said so.
So just because there's a known lake doesn't mean that that's only.
Oh no, we lost her. Okay. You know what? I'm going to try to get her back on Zoom. Sorry about that. I forgot to warn her that we're cutting out. Stop converting. Okay, no, it's gonna keep converting. We are losing open system center. Please let it convert properly. What are you doing here? Yeah. Allow. Yeah. Use the password. Open and quit and reopen. Okay, quit and reopen. All right, it's reopening. I wish I can get my guests back. I hope you guys are enjoying this topic. This is a very brilliant topic. Sorry, I will try to get her back. Let's do a new meeting. Let's start a new meeting. Okay, and I'm gonna send the copy link. I'm gonna send that link to her. Paste. Send. Please rejoin. Alrighty, I hope you get all right. And we are admitting. Let me see if we can get you back here. Welcome back. Hi, can you hear me?
Yes.
Oh, sorry about that. All right, so I'm going to put us back in our classroom setting that we were in. Let's switch it up a bit. Let's put it in a. Who is calling me from Utah? I do not know anybody in Utah right now. All right, let's put us in a Halloween setting, right? There's some pumpkins going on back there. Looks cool. No, maybe we should continue the setting we're in. What do you guys like? If you guys like what you're seeing, let us know by liking and subscribing, because that will let us know that we're doing something nice, right? So welcome back on the show. I'm gonna do this 1 second. All right, so I'm gonna put this guy right here. This one I'm gonna move down here. Can you guys hear me? Nita, can you hear me clearly? Testing. Nita, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Excellent. All right. So we are live again and you can hear me. We are also recording on Zoom. So please go ahead. The question that I asked you, you want me to repeat it?
Yes, please. Known crocodile, known lake crocodile hunter. So you didn't say that was the only lake. You just said that there was a known lake in the forest jungle. And you also didn't specify that he was hunting crocodiles. So just go to a different lake.
But he needs to get across the lake on that day.
So even if he needs to get across, we assuming that this is the only, correct?
Correct. In this instance,
I don't know. Go on the giraffe that he has in the refrigerator, or take the elephant that he has in the refrigerator and go across it.
I like the way you think. I like the way you think. Okay. You can clap for yourself for that. I'll give you half points. Okay.
Thank you.
Okay. All right. But do you want to know the answer to it?
Yes, please.
All right. So the answer to that question would be drum please. Dun, 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 dun. There will be no crocodiles in the lake because they're all at the meeting.
Oh my.
Here we were doing the existential debate on whether humans are animals and whatnot, yes? And we forgot the humble crocodile, unchanged in millions of years of evolution, nature's natural cleanup crew.
Yes. Yeah. My eye to attention is terrible.
It is well. Here on the Fly on the Wall podcast, we fly around and try to show different perspectives so that we can focus on that which matters. Correct?
Yes.
All right. We can ask the last question at the end, or the last question at the end of the show, or do you want to continue the questions?
You can. Yeah, you can ask another question.
Are you enjoying it?
I am.
Okay. Because I only do this if you're enjoying it. That's the only way. It's fun.
Yeah, I'm actually enjoying it. I wish I could see other people's reaction, so I'll have to join some ways so I can see their reactions at some point.
Well, you did beautifully. If you can join on YouTube, we are live on YouTube, so you can see like people that are joining in every now and then. We're live on YouTube. Check for EDD. Just type his name right here, Eddy4ShoT's. Just type it on YouTube and you see me. I'll pop up like hello. So this is my YouTube channel right here. Let me show you what it looks like. Boom. This is my YouTube channel. For those that are on YouTube right now, you should be able to see a live version of my page. You see that we are live right now. I didn't put a title on it yet, but I will edit it later. We are 245 subscribers, guys. Thank you so much. And we're at 700 videos right now. Thank you all so much. We make this happen every other week. You know how we do. We provide quality talks with entertaining quality and something that will make you laugh, something that will make you and learn, and all the while doing the best, right? So there we have it. It's live on Eddy4ShoT's. If you guys want to check it out, okay. And thank you guys for that. All right, back to you, Nita. You ready for the next question?
I'm ready.
Are you paying attention?
Attention paid.
Some people are too broke, they can't pay attention.
This is true.
All right, so here we go. The hunter decided to swim across the lake. He still died. What killed him?
The hunter decided to swim across the lake. Still died. What killed him? The predator that he was hunting.
Is that your final answer?
Hold on. They're at the meeting, so there's nobody there. The giraffe and the elephant are in the refrigerator. Oh, it's the coconut hidden.
Oh, clap for yourself. Clap for yourself. I want to hear it on the microphone. Clap for yourself. Oh, wow. Beautiful, beautiful. Yes, yes, yes. Nobody has ever got that on the show. So then where we have it, the first time on the show, ladies and gentlemen. The first, she does. She's never heard of the questions before, and she's very excited. She got so much 4 out of 6 of them. So guys, hey, we have a new record holder here. Guys, girls are winning right now. So you guys should come on the show and come and compete. This is the girls are winning. Yes. How do you feel getting that answer?
Thank you.
Yeah. So how did you get this answer? Tell us, please. For those that are listening, they want to know how did you get this answer?
Because you said all of the questions are related. So in my mind, I played back every question. And not one, every statement you made at some point was valuable to the next. This statement about coconut very first, we never hear about the coconut again in the sequence of questions. So if that coconut fell out, we still know there's still 599. If there's nothing in the lake because the crocodiles are all at the meeting, then a coconut that hit him at the exact time he was swimming.
Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. I like how you can say the answers and prove you're working. You know, in Nigeria, they'll say, did you prove your mass? You proved it in this situation.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for playing the game with FlyEd on the World podcast. Really appreciate it, you know. All right, so let's come back to the topic. I hope you enjoyed the game. You know, we like to have fun on the show, yeah.
I did.
Okay, okay. All right. So moving on, we're talking about the person. He has gotten on the flight. They have flown. There are some things that we experience on the flight that people are not used to, and we have to enlighten this newcomer on it. For example, takeoff, right? You have to seat belt, buckle up, be seated during takeoff, correct? So let's go through takeoff. We're flying on the plane, we've gotten into the plane, we've bought the ticket, we've entered the journey, we went through the lounge. Maybe we didn't have money, so we walked around the edges of the airport and watched the planes taxi in. We walked into the gantry. We walked into the plane. We said hi to the air hostess and stewardesses. I don't. What do they call them? The air hostess, right? Right.
Yes, stewardess, yes.
Yes. Okay. So then you go ahead and you go find your seat. You get seated. You store your bags after you're seated. Of course, you sit down. You buckle up. Now the plane is taxiing. The pilot talks to you, says, "Hey, we're about to fly. We are going to so location. Where this is the time. This is the date. This is the location we're flying from. This is the airport we're taking off from. Hope you guys have a nice flight and so on and so forth." Right? You guys get on the runway. They radioed to the air tower that we're about to take off, and now they start taking off. What is this new person supposed to be aware of as they are taking off?
You're supposed to be aware of your surroundings. You will feel it. The plane usually has a slow roll. It's just like being in a car, just a bigger car, and you're not the one driving it. You don't see all the mechanisms. And then it will start to gain speed. As it's gaining speed, you'll see it. You don't necessarily feel it, I believe. The plane will start to lift up. And at some point,
You get pulled into your chair, right? Like a sinking feeling.
so you kind of sink in the chair, and you can feel almost like the wheels go up into the plane, as if their compartment, like you hear it. If you like look out, you start to see the you can start to see that you're like steady gaining
altitude.
further and further away from the land. The first time I flew, one of the things that I noticed is it actually probably happened a little bit faster than I would have liked. My ears started to pop as we began to elevate. And one thing that somebody told me is that if you chew gum, that it prevents your ears from popping or it doesn't make it hurt as much. So that takes off. And then once you reach the altitude or the level at which your plane will probably fly, most of your flight, you will like level out. So you'll be going straight. So for a while, you're going up. And once they reach the spot where they want to be or where they're going to fly, then you'll level out and you'll just be going straight, almost like a bird flying at that point.
Thank you so much for that intro into the flight and getting up to cruise level. Yes, I really appreciate you walking through all the steps from when the plane starts to roll to when it speeds up and gains speeds, and then you feel the lift up, and then the plane pulls you to back into your chair because you are accelerating a little bit faster. The plane takes off from the ground, and then you feel that sinking feeling. The pilot adjusts for and compensates for altitude and turbulence. They get up to a level. You start feeling the air pressure change now, because what's happening is oxygen is a very heavy molecule or a heavy element. So it sits closer to the ground, right? The entire air molecule sits along with gravity, tapered to the earth. What happens as you take off is that you are going through less and less layer of this air pressure. So that air pressure, you feel the slightest changes in the innermost part of your ear, where you have the cochlea and the indus and the stapes, right? At that part of your vestibular canal, what's going on right there is the pressure is changing, correct? And this is where people start to feel air sickness or motion sickness, and most people hurl or vomit at this point. What's going on in your body is that your brain is saying there's less pressure outside than is inside my head, so it tries to release the pressure, right, in a way, or the pressure is less outside and is more inside. So what is going on in your head is the pressure trying to equalize, and you feel that like as if two things are trying to pierce into your ear. Do not be afraid. That is perfectly natural. You can also do what they call a valsalva. Miss Nita here, she suggested chewing gum. That helps. A valsalva would do it much, much rapidly, and it actually feels nice when you do it. Now, you might be asking, what is a valsalva? Excellent question. A valsalva is an act of inducing internal pressure in the sphenoid canal and in your nasal canal. How do you achieve a valsalva? You are going to close every orifice you have that allows air to forcefully come out. And the air, because of you are forcing it out through your chest and it has nowhere to go to, will come out through the next space it can, which is through which is through your Eustachian canal. Now, if you bear with me, my father is calling me right now. Let me find out what he wants. Bear with me, guys. I'll be right back. Nita, you can tell them a little bit about the cruise altitude.
It's pitch black. And then during the day, I mean, you're just in the clouds, basically.
Wonderful. Thank you so much. I don't know if people heard that last part of you. Were you saying the mic was kind of muted on my end? Could you please repeat that last part you said, please? Or you can go ahead and repeat what you said.
Okay, so cruising altitude is the altitude at which the height at which the plane will fly. I think it's usually about 10,000 feet. I don't know how to convert that, if I'm not mistaken.
I think it's 30,000 feet.
Sorry.
I think it's 30,000 feet.
30,000? Okay, 30,000.
But 10,000 meters.
10,000 meters. Got it. So during the daytime, you're in clouds. So you can see the so you can see clouds all around you. You kind of like fly through them, but you're above the clouds sometimes. And so when you're like that, you don't see anything that's on the ground. And at night, it's just pitch black.
Some people are probably expecting that they will see people waving at them, as they're flying, because of course they're important. They stood through the line and they should be waving people, waving.
Yeah, you won't see that.
You're telling me that all this money that they paid for, they get on the plane and nobody wave them by as they are flying past.
Yes, that's what I'm telling you.
Drats, I never knew that. What if I paid money for that? Some people are like, nah, man, I'm not flying right now. But let me not take too much of your time anymore. I know you're a very busy lady, Miss Nita, and of course, there are those that are listening to us that have given us enough of their time. Want to use this time to appreciate each and every one of them that have hung on with us and listening to us live. Nita, won't you agree? Hello.
Hello.
Yeah. Did you hear what I said?
No, you wanted to thank everybody for uh, hanging out with us and listening to our conversation. And I wanted to thank you for having me on your show. It has been a divine pleasure. I always welcome a good challenge, and I'll be more attentive and paying attention. That's what that game has taught me.
Brilliant, brilliant. I am honored and beyond measure. Thank you so much for that. And of course, on this show, we like to have fun. We like to play games. We have to pay attention to the matter at hand we are talking about. And I'm glad you were able to share your beautiful understanding on the flight process. Now, I know that we probably have maybe like 20 more minutes. So let's do a rundown on from cruise control, cruise altitude down to meeting their folks at the airport terminal. I know is a lot that has to contain that. We can even do another podcast for this if you would like. What do you say?
Okay, so you want us to take them from cruising to getting down, right?
Yes.
That's exactly what you want to do. Okay. So obviously everybody's experience is a little bit different, but overall there are certain things that usually happen on successful flights. That's what we're going to call that, right?
Yes.
A flight that goes from point A to point B in the manner in which we think it should go.
Yes, and of course, this is also riding on the back of the recent flights, and my heart goes out to those people who lost friends and family members in the flights within the last 2 months.
Amen. So after, while cruising at a certain point, I don't know how far out it usually is. The pilot will come over the loudspeaker, and occasionally doing so. There are a few things depending on the length of the flight. We'll say so. If you have an immediate flight that's an hour, maybe an hour and a half, in that flight, oftentimes depending on the type of flight, they will offer you something to drink. So a stewardess will come around and they'll have different snacks and different types of beverages. Depending on who your airline carrier is, you may have to purchase them. But on some flights, you don't have to purchase. It's just concierge service, so they give it to you. Now, on those flights, there's also the ability in some cases to purchase alcohol, but that is something that is purchased unless you're flying first class. But that's a different question for a different day. Then and if it's a long flight, the first time I ever flew long was flying from Georgia to Lagos. I got 2 meals, I believe, on that flight. So did they come around? They came around and they had food, and then they told you the food options, and then you were able to decide which option you wanted. So I believe we left. Then it was around like dinner time. So there was like a dinner option. There's usually a vegetarian option for those people who don't eat meat. Then there's some other options for you. Then the morning time, because it was morning by the time I got to Nigeria, there was almost a breakfast option that was available. And so then they'll come around, they'll ask you what you want, and then they'll bring it to you. And a few times they will ask you if you want something to drink. They'll come around with a drink cart and they'll give you something to drink. One of the things that I will say is if you are feeling uncomfortable for any reason while you're on a flight, it is always good to talk to the stewardess. If you're too cold, they'll give you a blanket. If you need something, if you need to stand and maybe walk, because once you're in the air, for the most part, at some point, they will put the light off, since you have to have your seatbelt buttoned. And then if you choose to walk around, I mean, I'm not going to say you should walk around the plane, but you need to stretch your legs out. If it's a long flight, I would suggest getting up or maybe walking to from the bathroom. Usually there's a bathroom in a couple locations on the plane. Something else that as I've gotten older is probably helpful. Obviously, you want to take things to keep you busy while you're on the plane or maybe sleep or something like that. If you have maybe problems with circulation or something, sometimes wearing fitted stockings, I've been told, helps with that to keep the blood flow, because I don't know, I'm not a doctor, but I hear wearing some particular type of stocking on long flights is actually good for you.
They do. They are called compression stockings, and I think you sell them in your local retail stores.
Okay. Yes, compression stockings. I hear they're actually good because if you've been on a flight for a long time, sometimes when you come out of the flight, you need to be balanced. Like your equilibrium might be a little bit off. So it's good to kind of like get yourself together. So sorry. So we're in the plane, we're flying. Always go to your stewardess if you need to go to the bathroom, if you're feeling sick, if you're feeling cold, maybe if you're feeling too hot. Some flights have TVs where you can just plug, you can listen to the TV, and they even have headphones that you can use or something to cover your eyes. They just want to make you feel as comfortable as you can, because obviously this isn't your normal. So just being able to be open and ask them for help will make your flight a little bit more convenient.
Awesome. Thank you so very much. I really appreciate that. You have given us marvelous inputs into the course of a flight. And now they've gotten to the cruise control, they've eaten, they have relaxed, they've taken a nap. Maybe it's an international flight that is going to take like upward of 6 hours or 8 hours. Now, okay, as in your term, you said about 10 hours, right? So our eight, they are getting to the destination. The pilot comes on the intercom and says, ladies and gentlemen, this is your pilot speaking. We are approaching our destination, say for example, New York. We are going to land. For those who have connection flights, we expect you to disembark and find your way to your connecting location. And remember to grab your belongings from the flight. This is your captain speaking. I have my co-pilot here. Thank you all for flying so and so airline. Okay. Now, say your first time arriving in an international country, for America, for example, right? Me, when I was coming to America, there's a document I had to fill on the flight, stating what I was having, declaring how much money I had on me. Is it always a good idea to declare all the amount of money I have on me?
So, this, I think that it is in your best interest to be truthful I'm never going to err on not being truthful because I don't want you or anybody in any way to trip up themselves. You put a number on this document and then you get somewhere else and you declare something else. And, there are just ways what I will say is oftentimes people track money. And so in tracking money, if you say, I came in here with X amount of dollars or whatever, and then you go somewhere else and now you have this, I don't want any red flags to be put up. One of the things that I will tell you in my profession, transactions that are over 10,000 American dollars are flagged. So banks, transfers of titles, things valued over more than $10,000, there is type of record somewhere for that.
What if what I'm wearing is over $10,000?
I've never seen a question that says how much are the clothes that you're wearing.
Okay.
I have seen valuables. So if you're wearing a chain that costs over $10,000, you may want to declare that.
Just in case maybe you take it off and in TSA and something happens, it gets stuck in the system. And
Yes.
Gotcha. All right. Thank you so much for that. So now they've signed in, they're coming off the flight, they get to the airport terminal, they're working with everybody, they get to the location, they meet the TSA agent, right? They walk through the line. Now what should we tell them? I think this part is very important, right? The after flight line, correct?
Yes. So what should we tell them? Okay, they are going to, at this point, the documents referring back to everything going full circle. They're going to ask you for those documents. Those documents are usually going to consist of your passport, which I said I have the ability to travel. Then they're going to ask you where you're going and what you're doing. And it is very important at this point that whatever you said initially is what you're going to say again, right? So, because they have ways to check the system. So, telling someone, hey, I'm going to Russia, I'm just picking a country, to study. And then you get there and you're saying, oh, I'm coming on vacation, right? Now, at this point, your answers aren't congruent. They don't align with each other. And so, therefore, now these people are going to scrutinize and question you because you told something different than you said before.
So, as you said, harkening back on what you said, it's better to err on telling the truth.
Yes, it is definitely better to err in telling the truth.
So here's my question, because now this is where all the we are running out of time on this second Zoom. This definitely deserves another episode, don't you say? Don't you think?
Sure.
Sure. All right. So let's use this last. We have about maybe 10 minutes and 45 seconds to basically wrap up and like tell us where people can reach you if you want them to reach you, if where people can talk to you if you want to talk to you. And of course, this has been live, so you find this episode live on YouTube, and I'll probably post something on Twitch as well so that you guys can see. I don't know why my OBS keeps timing out, so I decided to just skip all of that and use the basic YouTube live and then share my screen, and we did a Zoom, and that's how we're able to talk to Ms. Nita today. But yeah, go ahead. Please continue what you were saying before I stop here.
Okay. So what would happen is you would, what would happen is you would, at that point, tell them they're going to look over your documents. They're going to look over where you're going. So, you tell somebody in the beginning, I'm going to Baltimore, Maryland, and then you get there and you say, oh, I'm going to Washington, D.C. Those are two very different places. So they look over your stuff and everything. If your questions align with your documents and everything, now you're free to go. So now you've gotten through where you needed to get through. But you know what? There is something that we didn't mention, and I think it's always good to mention, right?
Go ahead.
When Okay, so after you're on the plane, you've been going for a while, you're getting ready to reach your position, right? So the pilot comes on and say, "Hey, we're getting ready to land." Usually about a half an hour, 45 minutes before you're getting to wherever you're getting to, right? At that point, they're going to ask you to sit in your seatbelt. They're going to ask you to refrain from moving around because the landing, things are going to shift. So it's better that you are stable and secure in something. One of the most, I'm never going to say that it doesn't happen because I've been on flights. Hopefully you always have good weather in a flight, but pilots are trained to not work in always the best of conditions. So you may, experience a little turbulence. Just like in life, sometimes you hit a bump or two.
It's
So
expected,
it's like
right?
that in a flight. And so, it's better to just brace yourself into be sitting down and things like that. But that's what I was going to say. So sometimes upon coming down, you may hit turbulence or air pockets where the plane will be trying to balance itself out. And you may feel that. Sometimes they have to come up and they come down. Sorry. Go ahead.
All right, thank you so much for that because most people don't really expect that in their flight, and we should kind of remember to tell people that maybe this is someone that's flying for the first time. He doesn't know what to expect. He or she doesn't know what to expect, right? And they are on their first flight. They are doing their best. They're like, okay, maybe perhaps when this flight is over, they'll get to the ground. They finally got to the ground. They've done through TSA. They go get. Let's also remember baggage claim because people forget their bags on the flight all the time. Right? What's the percentage of flight baggage like left? About maybe I'm guessing here maybe about in every flight maybe 2% to 7% of people forget their bags on every flight, right?
You mean the bags that are on the plane with you?
Yeah, or even the one in the baggage claim.
Yes. So yes, that is a thing. Um, I've never experienced that, and I always try to remember what I have with me. But yes, that is a thing where people forget their luggage or forget their baggage or they leave something behind. So you want to account for things because one of the things that a lot of airlines, airports, you never want to leave your bag behind
Mhm.
because we do live in a world where people do things, right? And so leaving your bag behind can be very suspicious for a lot of reasons. It could contain something or it could have something. So you never just want to have an unattended bag. And if you see an unattended bag, you may want to tell somebody, hey, there's a bag. Nobody's near that bag because of the dangers that it could pose to people.
All right. Put this scenario. Walks up to you. Somebody walks up to you and is like, "Hey, there's an unattended bag over there. What are you supposed to do?"
I would contact the nearest flight agent or stewardess or somebody who I feel like works for the airport and let them know.
Excellent.
And never
Excellent.
accept bags from somebody you don't know yourself.
Mm. There was I had a very strange this. I know we are running out of time, but let me quickly chime this in. Where the person I know the person, right? We went to school together, we studied together, sure, and now we're flying in transit, and give me a bag to carry. Now the bag, I'm like, why are you giving me this bag to carry? We are seated at the restaurant, and they're like, oh, can you watch this bag for me? Let me go to the bathroom and come back. Go to the bathroom and come back. Well, we sat down there for a good 30 minutes. If you are going to the bathroom, 30 minutes more than enough. 1 hour passed. Okay, we are still waiting. An hour and 30 minutes. Now it's getting to 2 hours. Our flight is arriving. We want to go to us. We had about 4 hours of layover. So now it's 2 hours in, and you went to the restaurant 2 hours ago. Sorry, so and you went to the bathroom 2 hours ago. You're not yet back. So my own decision was like, I'm not gonna take that bag. I don't know what's inside. So I decided to leave it there. Now there's an unattended bag. But what I did was I went to the intercom and I went to information and I told the people like, hey, my friend left a bag in this location. Is it possible that you guys can call her and get her to find her bag? And that
So were they able to locate the user of the bag? Did your friend get her bag?
I hope so, because she called me later and was like, oh, I never got my bag. I'm like, you should go to the airport terminal and they would locate it for you. But we never spoke again after that. So I don't know if she got her bag or not.
Bless your friend.
Because that was weird, right? I was calling. She never picked up until when we got to Nigeria, she called me.
The thing about that is the contents of the bag, since you don't know what was in the contents of the bag, it could have been something, and I'm not saying that all people mean malice, but it could have been something that could have been detrimental to you because you don't know the contents of what is in the bag. If there was something illegal in the bag, no, possession is 9/10 of the law. And because it is in your possession, then it would have been on you if something should have happened. So while that innocently watching your friend's bag is helping somebody, you don't know what it's doing to your own detriment.
Beautifully said, Miss Nita. Thank you so very much for coming on the FlyEd podcast, man. This has been super amazing and super exciting. I really enjoyed it and a lot. I hope you did too.
Thank you for having me again. Thank you all who were listening, and I hope to be on your show again sometime.
Yes, we will expect you to come back very soon. Thank you so much for coming on the show. Yes, this has been FlyEd on the Wall. Once again, your friends, people. Let me reintroduce myself. I was here with Miss Nita. She joined us here, and she was able to tell us about the journey from getting on the flight all the way down to meeting your people at the baggage claim, right? So I really appreciate her input. I appreciate her advice. I appreciate her warning and her insights, also from experience and her workplace. And really appreciate that a lot. So thank you so much for joining us, Nita. Once again, my name is Prince Dr. Chukwemeka Edward Attah-Edeh. Would you like to say a word or two before we pile down?
I would just like to say thank you. I don't have a social media presence.
Follow me on Eddy4ShoT's. You can find me on all these social channels. This is about to end any second now, so I don't know. You can find my name at EDDY4SHOT _ studios on Instagram, Eddy4ShoT simply on YouTube, Eddy4ShoT simply on Twitch, and hopefully one day when I'm doing all of this, there'll be my name up here. So you guys can see it. Okay, that is done. That was a beautiful, successful one. I really appreciate you guys for joining me. This has been a marvelous episode. I hope you guys could hear me. Oh, we had comments. I did not see. Christelle Byron. Yeah, hi. Hello, Christelle. Hi. Welcome to the show. I'm sorry I did not see your comments in time. Hello. I was not checking my comments. We had an active guest in the studio, so I know when I clicked on that, I was expecting to have more people join us, but we didn't. But for those who watched it on YouTube, you guys had the best look today. You guys got to see my upgrade. Let me stop sharing for a second. You guys got to see the upgrade that I've done to the Zoom Palace. As you can see, it's looking really, really nice in my opinion. I hope you guys have been enjoying it. I put a lot of effort into this. Yes, let's see. Zoom upgrade. Everything looks good so far. So, you guys are watching the FlyEd on the Wall podcast. As you can see, it is the FlyEd on the Wall podcast right there behind me. You can find me on YouTube, on Spotify, FlyEd on the Wall podcast, everywhere you guys get your beautiful things. All right. Thank you all so much. Bye for now.